Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and this is the Hoyt Altus. The Hoyt Altus comes in two models, the DCX, which is this cam system, and the SVX. The DCX is meant to be smoother and it's got more draw length adjustment. So this particular bow is adjustable from 30 inches to 28.5, and I'm looking here because it's written on the limb, and I really like this. It says what letter on the module relates to what draw length. So A relates to 28.5 and B relates to 29. I really like this, and I think this should be on all bows. Now, one of the problems is, let's say you're 28.5 inches, but you may be a little bit shorter. Then you need a whole different cam. And that's a bit of a problem, because if you are like between the two sizes, then it's a bit of an issue, because the next cam down goes from 28 to 26, and the next one down I think goes from 26 to 24. So if you're following that deadline, it can be a problem. Now, this bow is 38 inches long. It's got an over a 7-inch brace height, and this is a hybrid cam system. So you've got a yoke here and just a normal cam at the bottom. So for tuning this bow, you can twist up the cables here, but it's quite a simple system. Now, I would say most bows today, most target bows, don't have a hybrid cam. So this bow competes against your PSE Supra, which is a twin cam, your Elite Results and your Elite Remedies, which are a twin cam, your Bowtex, twin cam, Chinese, I think are twin cams. They may be hybrid cams because they may have copied Hoyt. But most bows have progressed past it. Matthews, twin cam. Price point on this is a little bit more than the other bows. It's priced under the Invicta from Hoyt. The Invicta has a brace here, has a more advanced cable guard. This is a straight carbon cable guard with a straight plastic cable slide. The strings are not served in the middle here, so you are going to get some wearing of the strings over the cable slide here. Most other companies serve where it goes through the cable rod here, and with the Elite where they serve it, you can actually hear it grinding as it goes through the cable rod. There's only one hole there for the arrow rester bolt, so there's no dual locking. There's no locking system here to lock the limbs down. Metal limb pockets. These are a fiberglass limb, but I think they have a coating over them, and they are at 90 degrees. The cams are quite good. They're a roller bearing, which is pretty standard these days. I like the modules. They have a side either side of the module, so a side on this side and a side on that side. So the string actually runs in the module. I like that. Some bows have that and some bows don't. PSE don't. They only have one edge. Elite has the two edges. Lower cable stabilizer position here. Only one stabilizer position at the front here. Some companies have the lower one there and the upper one there. Only one position to bolt your sights. Hoyt have gone away from the anodized finish to a paint finish, and this is the blue. They've got a few other colors this bow comes in. This system is fairly standard. I'm going to say Hoyt used to have a more advanced limb locking system, which used to wrap around the riser and sort of hold it in place. And I'm going to say the limb locking system on the older Hoyts was better, where it sort of locks in. I'm not going to say it's better, looks better, made more sense. Like, this is going to work, but the other one's sort of locked in place, the limb's locked in, and they look pretty good. And they've gone away from that, probably because this is a little bit cheaper. The limb graphics look fine, but it's fairly standard. Strings are grey. Obviously, I like the strings to match the colour of the riser, but they haven't done that, and that's becoming common along the bow manufacturers. A few years ago, if you had a blue bow, they had blue strings, green bow, green strings. Now it's just grey, and that's fairly standard. So we're going to try shooting this bow. IBO speed on the DCX is meant to be 322 feet per second, and the SVX I think is about 330. Now, a lot of your top competition shooters will shoot the SVX because it's a little bit more aggressive, but if you're an average shooter, you're probably going to find the DCX. It's got more adjustability and a little bit easier to draw, so it's probably going to be a little bit easier to shoot. So the first arrow we're shooting is a Victory VAP. This is my target arrow. This bow is set at 60 pounds at 29 inches. These arrows are 390 grains, are 350 with a 140 grain point. The bow itself is meant to weigh 4.6 pounds. I weighed it with the sight and the arrow rest on it, and it weighed 4.9. It's a similar weight to the PSE Supra. Now the balance on the bow, you can see it slightly weighs back. A lot of the target bows on the market are very back heavy because they expect you to put long stabilizers on, and this is back heavy, but not much. You can see it kind of move backwards, but not a lot. The grip feels a little bit narrower than like your PSE. It's rounded at the top here like an Elite. It feels a little bit wider than your older Hoyts. Your Bowtex is squarer. So I'm going to say the closest grip to this one would be probably the Elite. So let's try the draw cycle out. Now the DCX cams have been on the market for a number of years, so I assume this will be fairly standard. Okay, I was just waiting for the valley to hit and didn't feel the valley. So there is a valley, but basically it's extremely small. Now, Hoyt do this, and especially on the SVX, because if you've got a big valley and you relax into it, that means your shot will change. So the valley on this is very, very short. It's not a hard draw, so it's fairly solid, fairly solid, fairly solid. I'm going to guess it's dropping there. So there's virtually no valley. We're going to take this shot. (272 feet per second). I'm going to say I don't think that's 322 feet per second, but whatever. So the draw cycle. Now we're going to compare the other draw cycles, the PSE Supra. The PSE Supra has got a bigger valley at the back end. Doesn't matter if you go for the EM or the SE cam. The SE cam, I'm going to say, is probably a little bit smoother than this cam system. The bow feels very nice to draw. The EM cam from PSE is going to be a little bit more aggressive. The Elite Result, which is a twin cam, similar draw, but it's got limb stops and cable spots, so you've got this complete adjustability in the valley, so you can make the bow feel exactly how you want it to feel. So that's a bit different. The draw cycle is quite smooth on this, but there's virtually no valley at the end. I'm going to say that's probably going to concern beginner archers. Now what we're going to shoot is we're going to shoot a gold tip velocity. This arrow weighs 327 grains. That's what I use on all my sort of tests. Feels a bit spongy at the back. (293 feet per second). So a lot of the bows, when you get back in that draw position, they feel like rock solid, and I've been shooting the Elite and that's definitely rock solid. I haven't even fitted the limb stops to it. This theoretically should be rock solid, like it's got a stop there and it's got a stop down here, but I can absolutely rock it when I draw the bow back. As far as movement forward, like when you shoot the bow, the shock, I'm going to say the Matthews TRX probably has the least shock of all the bows. This does move forward in your hand, maybe more than the PSE, similar to the PSE. The Elite's probably a little bit more dead in your hand, and the Bowtex more dead in your hand. So this would be, the shock wise, I'm going to say similar to the PSE. Sort of see the bow sort of push forward. So I'm going to say it's probably got more shock than the other bows. I'm going to say for a 60-pound bow, I'm finding this particularly easy to draw. That was 272 as well. That was with a VAP. The grip I'm finding particularly comfortable. It took me a while to get used to the Elite grip. And I'm very used to the PSE grip because I shoot a lot of the PSE bows which offer all the same grip. Where I find with the Hoyt grips, they all change a little bit. Like in the Invicta, it's got an adjustable grip so you can change the angle of it. The Hoyt hunting bows are more of a rounder grip, plastic grip. This is a kind of a cross between a PSE and an Elite, and I'm finding it very, very nice. In the draw cycle, I'm not feeling any pressure on my arm whatsoever. I feel pressure on my arm when I draw back the Elite. The PSE feels faster. The Bowtech's, I'm going to say the Bowtech's faster. I'm going to say the Elite's faster. I'm going to say the Bowtech's faster. So with that, let's go back to 18 meters and let's see what sort of grips we shoot. So I'm back at 18 meters and I've put one in the middle. Now a lot of my arrows are up high in the target. You can see how high my sight is in reference to the actual position of the holes. So that's quite unusual. Normally the sight's in the middle, and that's to do with the position of these holes compared to the arrow rest. Anyway, I'm finding the grip quite comfortable. Now the draw cycle, because that valley is like that big, if you just let that pressure off a bit to relax, it wants to pull forward. The draw cycle is not hard, it's just there's no valley. So if you're a beginner archer, you're probably going to struggle with that. The grip's nice, fair bit of force, momentum in the bow moving forward when you shoot. Now I'm going to say the momentum forward that you feel is really not going to affect your accuracy. I hope not. But I do shoot, in these reviews I do shoot quite well with a lot of hunting bows which have no movement forward. So I don't know. It shouldn't affect your accuracy, but there is quite a bit of momentum forward. I'm expecting them in the middle, and I think those two arrows touched each other down low, 7 o'clock. So there's a guy today on a forum. He said, what's the best archery bow? So one of the Hoyt distributors said, well, look at the top 7 archers in Australia. 7 of them are shooting Hoyt, 2 are shooting PSE, and 1's shooting my bow. So that tells you all you need to know. Well, of people who walk into my shop, I'm going to say most come in with $100 to buy a bow. Very few will come in with $2,000 to buy a target bow. In fact, this bow has been in my shop for a year and no one's even asked to shoot it yet. So it's there and you can come in and shoot all the different bows, but no one's asked. This is the first time this bow has been shot. So, whoops. I am, like you saw it then, like I got comfortable in the draw cycle and that went. Because I'm trying to sort of lock things in place and I wasn't pulling it at the last second. My shot process and when I normally set up, and even with a recurve, I set up my anchor point and then I'm like aiming into the shot. Where, because I kind of relaxed it and I wasn't pulling back the whole time but pulled forward, I would get used to it the more I shot it. So I suppose when when someone asks that question, what's the best bow? And, I basically said, look, all the bows are pretty good these days and, depends what you're looking for and your price and all that sort of stuff. Look, the top archers are going to probably win with the top bows, and someone made a comment that the top archers were sponsored, which is, basically what I said. I said, look, we give away one of the archers in that top 10 at the moment in Australia is not a PSE shooter in my state. He wasn't sponsored. I don't think I gave him a discount on the bow. I might have, but it wasn't a big discount. He's like a young, I'm going to say a junior, a university student, and he's just improved recently. So it's not that he shot bad before, but he's like really improved. But for me, you know, when you're looking at a bow, it's about how the bow feels, what you're looking for, whether you like the weight of it, whether you like the grip, whether you like the adjustability. Like the Matthews TRX, it's a nice bow. The problem I have is the grip. I think the grip is the least comfortable of all the bows. And it's got it's a module based system. So if you want to change the draw length, you've got to buy yourself a new module, which is a bit of a pain. If you want to move the cams left to right, you have to buy a top hat system to do that. That's a bit of a pain. Changing the strings is a bit of a pain, and they're a little bit more expensive than the other bows on the market. So if I was to compare, I think the closest bow to this bow would be the PSE Supra. Very similar grip. You've got adjustability on the cam systems with the PSE Supra, I think from 25 to 32 inches in draw length just through moving it. You can change the let off by moving it. Adjustable cable guard, a roller cable slide as opposed to a plastic cable slide. It's a yoke system, top and bottom to balance the limbs, and it's $300 cheaper. So it's an anodized finish versus a paint as well. Look, I think I'm shooting quite well with this. It's not that you'll shoot bad with any of the bows on the market, you know, like there's obviously great shooters shooting all the bows. It's just which one you prefer the look of, the feel of. I really like the Elite. Yes, I've got an Elite t-shirt on, Elite hat. I love that you can fit limb stops to it. I love that you can fit cable, that it's got cable stops and you can change the whole way the bow feels. I like that, and I like the price point. I think the price point's really good. I like the bow tech. You've got the adjustable grip that the top of the line Hoyt's got. You can move the cams left to right, which is pretty cool, and you can also flip the module to go from a high performance to a softer draw, all on the one bow without having to buy stuff. That's cool. I mean, you know, since we're comparing all the bows, I think the My Bow Revolution, same price as this, a little bit cheaper, very finely built. Like, it's a beautifully built bow. It's, you know, it just looks amazing. The machining in the cams is amazing. Lots of let off, lots of a draw length adjustment. You can change the let off on it. Beautiful bow. It's very similar kind of grip, maybe a little bit narrower from memory. It's got the same sort of kick forward in it, similar weight, and that's an English bow. Now, it's not that I don't like this bow to shoot. I think, you know, I'm absolutely positive I'd shoot decent scores with it. I think I just prefer the other ones. And when I say the other ones, I really like the draw cycle on the PSE. I really like the functionality on the Elite. I like the Bowtech functionality. I really like the way that the My Bow is finished. I mean, the vibration in the Matthews is awesome. Just the Matthews grip just does my head in. And most of the Matthews shooters will put a different aftermarket grip on it. So, look, it's hard for me to judge a Matthews when everyone's fitting aftermarket grips to it. This grip is just nice, straight out the packet. I would prefer it to be adjustable, like the Invicta, just because it's something. It's not that this grip is uncomfortable, it's really nice. It's a very nice grip. I just like more things to play with. I suppose with this bow, with the Hoyt Altus and the Hoyt Invicta, you get confused. Do you go for a DCX or do you go for SVX cam system? My draw length varies from 28.5 to 29. In the SVX cam system, the draw length goes from 29 to 30 and 28.5 to 27.5, I think. So I'm like, which cam would I get? I'd probably go for the 29. This bow's set on 29. It feels comfortable for me. We'll just shoot one more. Look, the bow's nice. I'm going to say, like, originally when PSE produced the Supra, they didn't serve these cables in the center, and there was talk about it on the forums. Like, some people are getting wear. I didn't get wear, and I shot the bow for a year. But other people did get wear. I'm not sure why one person gets wear and another person doesn't, but I know why you don't serve it, because when you serve it, it grinds through the cable slide, and it's the result with a slide on like this feels gritty to draw. And I really think if you're getting the elite result, you want to fit a roller cable slide to it. And the other thing is, if you serve here, it creates like ridges, so it wears out the cable slide sooner. Let's go and see how those arrows look. I think they're okay. So hopefully the Hoyt people are not going to hate on me too much. Yeah, so I'm up here at the target, and this is pretty good, like a Robin Hood and knock. Most of the arrows are in the 10. Now the ones in the 10 was what it was like in practice. I've got a couple of arrows down low, and this is just, you know, probably moving my hand up and down my face a little bit. But overall, it's an excellent, I think it's an excellent group. I can pretty much get my fingers around the whole lot. So how do I, look, if you're shooting a Hoyt Altus, you're going to be happy enough with it, and there's no reason why you can't win shoots with this bow. And there are people clearly winning shoots with this bow. So there's nothing wrong with the bow. I'm just going to say that when I try different bows out, some bows I take and I'm like, I really like that bow for one reason or the other. Look, I shot well with this bow, but it doesn't just grab me as a bow that, it just doesn't grab me, if you know what I mean. As I feel like it's a bow from 10 years ago, and it's like in the Hoyt, on the Hoyt page, which I looked at before doing this, they said something about simplicity in build, and I understand what they mean. It's like a very simple bow, the Hoyt Altus. It's like a bow that was made 10 years ago. It's not having a go. Like the PSE Supra from about 10 years ago is almost this exact bow. It's pretty much this exact bow. So it's, I suppose what I'm looking for when I'm like thinking about buying a new bow, I'm looking for a reason to buy a new bow, and whether it's the color of the bow that I like, or there's a new feature, or this bow feels great, or this or that. Like for example, I tried the new Citation from PSE. The first time I shot it, I really liked the way it felt. Where in my first review I shot with Citation, I was like, eh. But then when I shot the 36, I was like, yeah, I really like this bow. I'm also now shooting a Elite Remedy, which I'm really liking as well, and I'm going to try the Elite Result next, which I was like, look, I really want to like the bow, but then it was gritty through the cable slide. And I suppose that's where I get to with the Hoyt Altus. I'm like the bow's solid, it's a fine bow. The value is so small that I'm like, I could work with that. I think it would actually benefit me from shooting because it is so small. It would be consistency of speed. But I could change the PSE or the Elite or the Bowtech to have a similar valley being so small. And the Bowtech is kind of cool because of the cables and the adjustable grip and the flipping modules. It's like in 10 years, that's going to be a cool bow still. The Elite is going to be a cool bow in 10 years. The Citation is going to be a cool bow in 10 years. This is still going to be a good bow in 10 years. It's just not going to be something that in 10 years that people are going to say, I don't think that people are going to say, wow, I really want to stick that on my wall in 10 years time. So with that, the things I would like to see Hoyt do to improve the bow, I'd like to see limb locking systems. I'd like to see the cam system that is featured on the Hoyt hunting bows, because I think that's a really good cam system. I'd like adjustable cable rod that is either on the Hoyt Invicta, or I'd like to see the roller cable slides that are in the Hoyt hunting bows. I think that would be cool. I would like to see an anodized riser that matches the colors of the accessories. I'd like to see 2 stabilizer holes, one high, one low. I'm very happy with the grip. I like the adjustable grip would be cool, but I'm so comfortable with that grip. I'd be happy to say that's one of the better grips I've ever shot. So I'm going to say I really like the PSE grip. I really like the Elite grip. I think this grip is better. And I'd have to shoot them both, but that grip was just beautiful straight off the bat. A lot of the Hoyt grips have been too narrow for me and they create pressure points in my hand. I think this grip was just right. I think it was spot on. I think the wall's a little bit spongy. I think I'd like it a little bit more solid, whether it's different type of stop or something. For some reason it wasn't as solid as some of the other bows. Besides that, I think the bow's fine. Price point, like if the price point was less, and I will acknowledge the Hoyt Altus is significantly cheaper in Australia than America. In fact, so you could buy a Hoyt Altus in Australia, ship it to America for cheaper than the price of buying one in America. So think about that if you're in America, that you could buy a Hoyt Altus, which is 2,000 Australian dollars. You get $200 off GST, so that makes it 1,800. You take off the Australian dollar, which is 70 cents. So take that off. Must be about $100 to ship a bow to America. I think you're going to land one of these bows in America for about 1,200 American dollars. 1,200, 1,300, and I think in America they sell for about 1,500. Tell me if I'm wrong. Saying that, I don't know how many. This bow has been in my shop for almost a year now, and no one's even looked at it. So I'm not sure if that's the price point or what. Whether the Hoyt shooters all go for the Invictas, I don't know. I don't know what's going on around the rest of Australia about how many Altuses have been shot or how many Altuses get sold in America versus Invictas. I mean, if I was going to shoot a Hoyt, I would shoot the Invicta. And yes, it is more money, but I think for the extra money, I'm getting adjustable cable guard, a bridge riser, adjustable grip, and for $600 extra, I'd be happy to pay that, even though I don't think those features are worth $600. Maybe they are for the bridge riser. But overall, the bow shot really, really well. More than happy with it. But I think for a beginner, you want to try it. And like if you're looking at a new target bow, you try this one, you try the Supra, you try the Elite, try the Bowtech, you try these. Just one shot. You don't even need to shoot the bow. You can just pull it back and see what it's like, and then you'll know. As soon as you shoot it, you'll know. Okay. I'll leave it there. I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching. Bye.